Hi guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yvonne Princess Shabangu and we're back with another Employment Wednesday video, and today we are tackling the magic question, the question that determines whether or not you are going to get a job at that specific company. We are tackling the question of tell me about yourself. I don't know if so some people would say, can you tell us about yourself? Yeah, it's a question. Some people put it as a statement, tell us about yourself. So it's like a command. So we are going to tackle how you can answer that question appropriately for you to actually secure that job or even secure a second stage interview, right? So today I'm going to assist you in answering that specific question. I'm going to give you an example of how you can answer it appropriately and efficiently. And I'm also going to give you keywords that you need to use in that specific question, or rather in your whole interview, because sometimes the specific words that we take for granted, but those are the keywords that we ought to use. So without wasting any of your time, do not forget to subscribe, like, share and comment, and you will be part of the Graceful family. And do switch on the notification bell so that you can receive all the communication relating to the channel. So let's get into it. So this question is a make or break kind of question, right? I always say it's a proposal. For me, it's like a proposal when you are doing your dissertation or your thesis. Like, it's an introduction, it's an impression. So it's your opportunity to give an impression to whoever that's interviewing you, right? So rule number one, guys, it's always important being comfortable when you are going to your interviews or when you are preparing for interviews. I can never stress that enough. You have to be comfortable. You know, sometimes if you need to drink water, drink your water, drink your coffee, but you have to be comfortable. That's rule number one. Rule number two, you always have to be at an interview on time. If you are at an interview on time, you don't find yourself wanting or dilly-dallying, because sometimes we want to excel in an interview and you just got there just on time. So at least if you give yourself at least 15 minutes to get to the venue, and then you actually relax into the whole process, then it's so much better for you, right? And this question, guys, it makes or breaks the whole interview. It's usually the first question. So this question actually also opens a can of worms. Sometimes it opens you to positive questions. Sometimes it opens you to negative questions, which is why it's very, very important that you answer it carefully, so, right? So number one, they're probably going to say, tell us about yourself, right? Before anything. But also before we get to the question part, guys, do not sit down if you are not told to sit down. Don't just enter maybe the boardroom where you're getting interviewed and just take a seat. It's not good manners. It gives the person that is very forward. So when you enter the room, stand, wait until you're told to actually take a seat, right? So once you're told to take a sit yourself in a postured manner. You have to be confident, guys. If you are not confident, you have to be confident, not confident. If you are not confident, you're going to have problems, because already when a person is looking at you, they feel like you're not convinced about what you say. But if you have confidence and you look impressive, already you create a specific atmosphere within that room, right? So you sit upright. Don't, don't just be too relaxed, but just posture yourself in a position whereby, like, you're sitting up straight, you're looking at the person that's asking you questions, you are answering directly. And if you did not hear what the person asked, you ask that they repeat the question. Don't just answer for the sake of answering the question, right? Let's go into tell me about yourself. Number one, guys, rule number one, and this tell me about yourself is specifically for graduates, people that are still in uni, or people that are fresh out of uni or fresh out of high school looking for a job, right? Tell me about yourself. First things first, thank the person that has asked you the question, or rather even thank the panel for giving you the opportunity to actually be part of the interview processes. That also shows a sense of good manners. So your first thing that you need to do is say thank you for giving me this opportunity, right? Number two, avoid trying to speak fast as if you're rushing somewhere. Like, you're not rushing anyway. Don't speak too slow, but also be audible and be clear in what you are trying to say. That's number two, right? And then also if you need water, drink your water, right? But don't find yourself I don't know, I'm not sure, I think. Don't say things like, I think I'm a good writer or a good communicator. Say, I am a good communicator and give substance. I'll give an example, right? Tell me about yourself. I'm the interviewer and also I'm the interviewee, right? Because I don't have another person to do this with. But yeah, if the first question is tell us about yourself, this is the wrong way to do it. Don't say, my name is Yvonne, 23 years old. I studied at UJ. I studied at UJ in 4 years. I am a good communicator. I'm a hard worker. I would like to work for the company. I'm the best candidate because I have good marks. No, that's like X. Don't do that. Take your time in applying yourself to the question that is being asked. Think about the question before you attempt answering it, right? So, for example, before I even give you the correct approach on how to do it, for example, one, you need to ensure that you are not just giving in sentences without substance. Like, for instance, if you not now responded, I just said my name is Yvonne, so now must they ask me what's your surname? Do you have a middle name? Which is not a good look. I said I studied at UJ, but I didn't say what I studied at UJ. I said I'm a hard worker, but I didn't qualify why I'm saying I'm a hard worker. I said I would like to be employed because I have good marks. How many students actually have good marks? A lot of people have good marks. And then at some point I put my hands in my mouth and I'm all over the place, right? Those are no-nos. Don't find yourself doing that. Sit yourself upright, like I said earlier, and then posture yourself. And for ladies, sometimes avoid, when you're going to interview, avoid loud colors. Like, I think as a professional, okay, my nails are a little bit subtle, right? I would even prefer something more subtle. I just did this because like it was my birthday and stuff like that. But yeah, but have nails that are subtle so that you're not destructive, and don't use too much of your hands. Like, you know, imagine having red nails or white nails and you are, you know, that's the thing. Don't do that. So let's take it from the top. I walk in, I stand, I wait to be told to sit down. I've been told to sit down. This is me. I'm seated upright. I am postured. Question number one, tell us about yourself. Firstly, this is me answering, right? Firstly, I would like to thank the panel and the company for giving me this opportunity to be interviewed by the company or even considering me for the role. My name is Yvonne Princess Shabangu. I am an LLB graduate from the University of Johannesburg. I have a postgrad qualification in banking law, right? And then from there, full stop, right? And also you pace yourself, be calm, right? Guys, don't rush. I am a hard worker, and this is so because I have worked at the University of Johannesburg as a legal studies and legal skills tutor. This position showed me that I can work well under pressure, and it showed me that I can work well for long hours, because at some point we had to mark scripts of students, we had to escort students to camps and trips and stuff like that. So don't put yourself in a position where you're just saying, I'm a hard worker. You know, don't do that. And don't be in a position whereby a person stays wondering, like, what's next? You work well under pressure. Where's the proof, right? And then from there, you do say, I'm a hard worker, and you qualify it, right? And then from there, you give another quality that makes you stand out. I am a very curious individual. I love knowing more. I don't limit myself to just what I've been told. I take my time to conduct research, and I gained the skill during my time as a master's student at the University of Johannesburg. In my master's journey, I also learned how to draft loan agreements, and that is if it applies to the company, right? Also, it's important that you do a research on the company, and more than just the research on the company, do a research on the role, right? Find out what duties is required of you, because if you are not required to draft, you can't mention that you learned to draft. But if you are required to communicate with a lot of clients, you can mention that you have dealt with different kinds of people when you worked in a retail environment, and you're able to communicate in different languages. So yeah, that is very, very important. Give a person context and find out what role is it. Don't just give answers, because sometimes some of the qualities we have don't apply to the role that we're being interviewed for. So look for the things that apply to that particular role. So if you are getting interviewed for a candidate attorney position, it's important that you do mention that you work well under pressure. That's where you'll be able to actually say, in my journey as an LLB student, I chose to write on a specific topic, and the topic is titled blockchain technology. Blockchain technology is a very scarce topic, like it's scarcely written about, right? And I took my time to do extensive research. I had to do a lot of databases. So it shows how you can go an extra mile. It shows how you can research. It shows how you can be of use to the company. You need to be able to actually show what you bring into the company. Don't just say unqualified statements. If you are going to say, I am the best in communicating, tell us. You've been, or if you're going to maybe interview for a litigation position, tell us to say, hey, I think I'm suitable for the position because I used to participate a lot in moot court, and moot court requires a lot of drafting. You know, that's a skill that you acquired when you were still in uni, but you can use that to your advantage if you don't have any other experience. And it's always important to let the interviewer know that you are a blank canvas, right? So this means that you are fresh out of uni. You don't have any other preconceived expectations or assumptions about the workplace. So it gives the company the opportunity to train you the best way they know how, and it gives you the opportunity to learn as much as you can learn. So you're not a person that has done too much of maybe banking law and you're going into criminal law, and it becomes a little bit hard for you to learn. But if you're fresh from uni and you do highlight that you're a blank canvas, it means that they can give you the foundation. They can make you an expert within that specific field that you're being interviewed for. So that is very, very important. You give a person context, right? So let's take it to the top. Very quick, short and precise and straightforward, right? I speak a little bit fast. You don't have to be fast. So you say to the interviewer or the panel, thank you to the panel for giving me the opportunity to be part of the interviewing process, and I'd like to thank the company for considering me for this specific position. My name is Yvonne Princess Shabangu. I am an LLB graduate from the University of Johannesburg. I have also obtained my LLM in banking law. I am suitable for this position because I am a hard worker. I saw that I am a hard worker during my time as a legal skills and legal studies tutor. We were required to work under lots of pressure as we worked hand in hand with different lecturers and different students. We worked with over 50 students per tutor. So I was forced to handle each student's concern in a specialized manner, and also I was forced to actually mark those assignments, and that taught me a lot. It taught me how to handle each situation on a case-by-case basis. I am also a very reliable person because I was able to work on weekends during my time at the University of Johannesburg. I was also able to answer calls if any staff support needed assistance from me. They were able to access me through my emails. They were able to access me through the phone call. I was always readily available. I am a blank canvas, which will give the opportunity to the company to train me the best way they know how. And it makes me a person that is willing to learn, and it makes me a person that is open to learn, and it will be much easier for me to learn, and I am committed to growing with the company. Yeah, so you can put it along those lines, but always remember the role that you're being interviewed for. So you show those qualities and you apply yourself to the role. If the role says it needs a researcher, Show that you have researching skills that you've learned from uni. If the role says it needs a good communicator, show that you are a good communicator, even in the way you articulate yourself, even in the way you're carrying yourself, even in the way you've written an email to them. So that is very, very, very important. And then now I want to share with you about 8 words that you can't, guys, I can't emphasize this enough. You cannot leave the interview room without mentioning those words. I don't know, you have to make sure that you mention them one way or another. It might not be in the question of tell me about yourself, but tell me about yourself is the perfect place where you can use these words. Number 1, guys, flexibility. Companies require a person to be flexible. And by flexibility, I don't mean you should allow yourself to be exploited, but show that you are a person that is flexible and that you are able to work overtime when required. You are accessible in terms of calls, emails, and you're able to do what you're supposed to do, number 1. Number 2, disciplined. You have to mention that you're disciplined, because if you are disciplined, it helps the company know that they can rely on you, they can trust you with the amount of work and duties. You know, they're not going to micromanage you, right? Number 3, being a team player. Every company wants to work with people that are aligned, people that are able to bring something to the team. Because here's the thing, you might be the best. If the other person is not the best, it's always going to show in the end goal. So you have to strive to be a team player, and you have to mention it before you leave the interview room that you are a team player, right? And then number 4, you have to mention that you're frugal, meaning that you're not a waster of company resources, because we live in hard times. So much inflation, everything is hard. I'll make an example, a company car, guys. You have to show that if you are entrusted with a company car, you're not going to drive around doing your own things. You are going to drive to where you're supposed to be and come back. Things like company typed paper. You are going to print what is required of you, and if possible, you're going to find means to effectively print or save paper, whatever the case may be. The work telephone. You're not going to use the work telephone to make your personal calls every single day, unless if really on that one day it's an emergency, but don't abuse company resources. So it's very important that you're frugal, and companies love knowing that they can entrust you with their resources, and they love knowing that their resources are in good hands, right? And then it's very important that you are reliable. It's the same, it's very similar to flexibility. It's very important that you are reliable. If a person says, let's meet at 7 a.m., we've got a client coming up, they should know that you can show up. So it's important that you do highlight that you are a reliable person, and do give instances whereby you've shown that skill of reliability, right? And then it's also important that you are accountable. If you can show that you're accountable, people around you will also know that even when you make mistakes, you are not making deliberate mistake. So before you leave that interview room, make sure you've told your interviewer that I am an accountable person. I remember there was one occurrence where I did not submit my assignment. I held myself accountable, went to speak to the lecturer, and took suspension or detention or whatever the case may be, but show that you are accountable, right? And then let me just quickly see if I'm missing anything, because I wrote a couple of notes. So, and also guys, companies want to know if you have goals. They love people that are goal orientated. So you need to mention in the interview room that you are goal orientated, and also show evidence that you actually achieve those goals, because setting goals is one thing and achieving those goals is another. It's a different thing. So you can't just say I'm goal orientated. What have you done? Where's the proof? You know, if you're a freshman, you can always prove that you're a dedicated student, you've gotten distinctions, you had set yourself to get 100% and you did get that 100%. You are an athlete, you had set yourself to make it to the finals and you did make it to the finals. Those are the kind of examples you can use, but don't just make statements and not be able to qualify them. And then it's important, guys, that you're trustworthy. Companies want to know that you're trustworthy. They want to know they can trust you, firstly, with client information. I will personally speak for my profession. As a lawyer, it's important that you're trustworthy, meaning that the company can trust you, number one, with client privilege. Like, you can keep clients' information confidential. Number two, you can keep the company information confidential. They don't want to be in a position whereby they are not sure that they can trust you with anything. So yeah, you need to mention that you are trustworthy, and actually give maybe instances where you were trusted with something big and you did it, firstly, without being followed around, and secondly, you kept the information not disclosed. They just want to know that you are trustworthy. And a bonus for everyone training to be an attorney or a lawyer: be honest. It's very important that you're honest. Directors of companies, law firms, or even just different institutions that do legal work, they want to know if you're honest. And you need to mention, if you're being interviewed for that kind of position that requires honesty, just mention that you're an honest individual and you've seen. So yeah, guys, before you leave that interview room, it's important that you mention that you're a team player, you're disciplined, you are flexible, you are fragile, you are adaptable, you are honest, you're trustworthy, you're accountable, and you're reliable. And yeah, you have to mention those things. Those are very, very important. But without further ado, and without wasting any of your time, do not forget to be love and light. Don't forget to be kindness, and do not forget to pray for a person seeking for a job. Today is the day to do that. And do not forget to share with each other job posts and any job tips and stuff like that. So yeah, don't forget to be love and light. God bless you, and I love you all. Happy Employment Wednesdays.